Don't leave me hanging. It's go time.
Hey everybody, this is Josh, and here we have another terrific, splendid, spectacular game being played between Root QXE. He is the purple Terran down here on the bottom left of Xel'Naga Caverns, representing Root Gaming in this clan war against Dignitas Gaming. So who did Dignitas put up in this match? It is actually SeleCT, the Korean-born American player. We consider him American. I'm really thinking he's more South Korean than American, though, as he's just studying over here. And I'm not sure if he's actually chosen to live in America or what. He's kind of all over the place, going to lands all over the place, all over the world, really. And SeleCT, unfortunately for him, just missed out on getting into the TSL 3. He actually had to play a tiebreaker against StarCraft, didn't quite make it. QXE actually is playing in the TSL 3 coming up very, very soon here on TeamLiquid.net, so make sure you check that out. This clan war is being played, of course, for the Gosucoaching Premiere League. This is from week 3, so yes, the replay is a little bit dated, but in case you guys missed it, I haven't seen it anywhere on YouTube, so I'm going to try and, keep these games fresh in everyone's mind. These players are so good. SeleCT and QXE going to pretty much, actually I think every MLG event last year, and both doing quite well for themselves, so this should be a great little TVT. We'll see how everything works out here on Xel'Naga Caverns. TVT on this map can actually degrade into tank Viking spam quite often in this TVT matchup. We see planetary fortresses at these gold bases quite a lot. Drop harassment is actually extremely powerful here on this map as well, and both players are going to just head off and start scouting. If you look at that production tab, everything is pretty much identical, and actually should be for several minutes. That's just how TVT goes. So QXE actually stopping here at the gold base outside SeleCT's natural and going to put up a second barracks quite quickly. So SeleCT, he got his SCV in there, he snooped around, he saw no refinery being put up yet. SeleCT actually hasn't put up a refinery himself either, though, so really not too big of a surprise. Usually the very standard Terran build that we see is barracks into refinery into orbital command. Neither player going for that this time around, both of them going for mineral-only builds, so usually that involves several barracks and a quick expansion, but QXE putting his own little twist on it, getting the second barracks in a sneaky spot. I'm not sure how much damage he's going to be able to do with this, as SeleCT is actually going, the same sort of build. If SeleCT had actually put a refinery down that's 75 more minerals that he wouldn't have had for Marines, he probably would have been adding a tech lab, taking up even more time. So I think the fact that SeleCT is actually going this mineral-only build as well is probably the worst possible thing that QXE could have happened, despite SeleCT not even seeing this barracks. He's actually scouting all over the place with this SCV and this other Marine to try and figure out if QXE is doing something differently. He saw no refinery, no second barracks, really, what's kind of going on here. SeleCT actually hasn't added on a second barracks of his own, though, so if there is one hope for QXE, it's that he can get more Marines out to SeleCT's base before SeleCT can. And it looks like SeleCT did want to build a command center there, but he's sort of backing off. We see his minerals are very, very high right now, 500, and he is adding on a bunker right here at the top of his ramp. This actually could save the game for SeleCT. We'll see what happens here. QXE in a kind of dominant position here. He needs to get all his Marines and SCVs in one spot so he can actually do the most damage. SeleCT is having to pull a lot of SCVs here. He actually might lose a couple of them, but QXE not focusing very well there. He actually does manage to take out all 3 of those SCVs. Now it's just one Marine against one Marine. This bunker, once again, going to provide a great defense here for SeleCT. He can build the command center safely up in his base. I probably would have added on a second barracks, and here come barracks number 2 and 3 as I say that. Probably would have built that second barracks just to make sure that he's going to be able to fight this off. The fact that he has a command center here and this bunker up here means that if he does hold off QXE long enough, he will be able to continue into a solid mid-game. QXE back at home building a command center of his own, getting his third barracks actually here in his main, and a single refinery, so both players actually throwing up refineries right now. So this game, I said it was going to be identical, not quite the case, but still pretty similar. Both players getting up on 3 racks with a command center and a single refinery, so really not too much going crazy here. This bunker is really the only difference here, and the fact that it's up on the high ground, QXE will have to get a Marine up there, and there's no way he's going to be able to do that with 4 Marines inside this bunker with their improved range, and SeleCT actually building a bunker here at QXE's natural, going to block this orbital commander, this command center, from getting over there as well. QXE using his barracks for spotting now. Does he even know about this bunker? Yes, he does already. So he's going to bring his Marines over, start shooting away at this barracks. SeleCT is actually too far out of range to be able to do anything about it, but he will be able to take some shots at this barrack if it gets too close. SeleCT has plenty of time to just lift up, move further into his base, and now there's really nothing QXE can even shoot at, except with potentially this orbital command that is now about to finish for SeleCT. He could actually bring his Marines over here to the top side and try and do some damage that way, but the great vision here from SeleCT's bunker actually going to be able to continue shooting at this barracks. And is QXC going to be able to shoot at this? I think he is in range. Yes, he gets a single Marine in range, so he will be able to do tiny amounts of damage to that orbital command. But SeleCT, catching up on Marine count right now. Actually, he is going to move out. He unloads that bunker, and he's going to move down to the bottom of his ramp. He's got an SCV here to help as well. QXC actually losing a lot of Marines here to the concentrated fire of SeleCT's Marines. He is going to be able to break this contain, and now the fact that this barracks has stopped producing anything, and it's now just spying on SeleCT's base, means that it's not going to be a threat anymore. SeleCT adding on barracks number 4 and 5, and a factory now. QXC trying to come over here and expand. He's seeing this bunker for the first time, though, so he's not going to be able to land it, pulling his Marines now out of his main to come deal with this. Let's look at the unit count once again. Oh, I already had it up. SeleCT at 3 Marines, QXC with 7 hanging out at his base. This barracks still just taking a look at everything. He's seeing, you know, everything in SeleCT's base, so he knows what's coming. Is he actually going to get a factory of his own? He's getting a second refinery now. He's up to 5 barracks of his own, as this one looks like it could be in danger. This is barracks number 6, I'll call it, but it looks like he has it queued back over to SeleCT's natural. He's going to check and make sure that SeleCT did expand there, as he hasn't seen that with his own eyes yet. So he's just going to use that barracks as fodder at this point. Just 150 mineral scout, really not too terrible. And he does have a tech lab up. Stim pack is about to complete. Combat shields getting started now. Looks like SeleCT is getting a starport up way before QXC, though. Still no factory even for QXC, so he's way behind in tech once this starport completes. And of course he can throw a reactor or a tech lab on that, maybe get some banshees or medevacs, and he'll be in a pretty solid lead. So the fact that that early attack really didn't do much for QXC didn't put him too far behind either. Look at that harvester count, still very similar. Look at the armies, very similar. QXC actually in a slight lead, but the fact that he's not catching up on tech could actually be his undoing, as SeleCT is just moving farther ahead now. And the fact that all these Marines are basically stuck here, they stim up. SeleCT does have a lot of SCVs pulled off the line to try and chase these Marines away, so SeleCT is going to actually hold that off quite well. QXC loses a Marine needlessly there to those many Marines from SeleCT, and now that actually just tipped the scales of the entire game. Look at this. 14 Marines against 10 now of QXC. If we look at the harvester count, I don't think he even lost an SCV there. Might have lost 1, but now QXC, any advantage that he had, he actually went down, sort of lost that advantage, sort of lost that evenness that he had with SeleCT, and now this tech is actually going to catch up with him, as there's a reactor on the starport and medevacs can start being churned out. There's already 1 out for SeleCT, and that actually is going to be a huge boon, since QXC is just now getting his factory completed, just now going to be able to start a starport, and there it goes. Reactor coming on for this barracks. I'm not sure if this factory is going to add on a tech lab or a reactor, but we'll see what happens. QXC right now with a sole Marine army right now, 22 Marines against 22 for SeleCT, but SeleCT has this almighty medevac here to help support it. Marauders coming out now for QXC. Did he actually get the concussive shells? No, he hasn't even got that yet. So all Marines all the time for QXC right now. Losing those units up in the top and SeleCT's natural actually hindered him quite a lot, and now these medevacs are starting to be produced quite quickly, 1 or 2 at a time. Gonna obviously favor SeleCT, and I don't mean to harp on it too much, but really it's the only thing kind of going on right now. QXC sending another big batch of Marines towards SeleCT's natural, but he's going to be here with plenty of forces to meet this at the Xel'Naga Tower. 4 Marines, 5 Marines, 6 Marines, biting the dust extremely quickly. The only way they're going to be able to be mobile right now is with Stim Pack, and with no medevacs overhead, that is just going to wear them down so quickly compared to SeleCT's forces here. So Scan comes down for SeleCT. He tries and places all the army of QXC. No siege tanks are there, no bunkers are there, so he moves right into that mineral line. Basically destroys a ton of SCVs there before QXC is able to get in good enough positioning. These medevacs, all they really need to do is heal up, and SeleCT should be able to fight this off and kill off all the rest that QXC has. 23 Marines total for SeleCT. We see on the mini-map a big blob of blue coming down to support this, so even if SeleCT does lose his forces, which might actually be the case, he's got reinforcements here very soon, and actually SeleCT does not lose all of his forces, and he does have some Marines taking out Marauders here at the Xel'Naga Tower. So QXC looking very bare bones right now with his forces. 5 Marines and 28 SCVs against 46 SCVs of SeleCT. So even if SeleCT doesn't win the game outright right here, he does have that very large harvester count advantage. So he's going to continue shooting SCVs, cementing that advantage. It looks like he's building a command center here at the gold as well as he continues to take out Marines. The medevac is finally out for QXC and gets taken out quite quickly by those Marines of SeleCT. Lots more Marines coming in reinforcements. You can see vision blobs and blobs of blue coming through the Xel'Naga Caverns map here, and QXC is going to slowly lose the rest of his forces. Basically, all he's got right now are mules and a marine to fight this off. The more medevacs Select gets over here, the better. QXC actually GGing right out of this game. He was down to 18 harvesters against 46 from Select, so Select, very nice play, holding off that sort of trickery there at the beginning of the game, keeping his advantage, defending against that big marine push at his natural is actually what tipped the scales in his favor, getting a starport out faster, just all around solid play from Select. So now let's go into the next game of Dignitas Gaming versus Root Gaming to see who will win this sort of mini clan war. And it's going to be 2 new players on a new map, so let's go see what happens.